So the plugins, yes. Is it okay or audible to everyone online? Same. Is it audible to everyone? Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Let's continue. Yep. So yeah, continue. So last session, what we done discussed about some APIs. Those are all plugins. Huh? Next, now we need to know how this jQuery is used with backend communication. So in the backend, we are going to first see how to deal with MongoDB database. We are going to see how we can manage and create and work with MongoDB database. So technically, so what is a database and why you need a database? So first few basic points I will tell you. Actually, database is a store. Generally, we call as a store. So where you can store the data required for application. So database is a store where you can store the data required for application. So it is called as a store. We call this as a store. So in that store, you can store the data. So, and you can use for the application. But lot of important things you need to understand. Without database, can't we store data? Database is to store data. Without database also, we can store data. We can store data in files. In a file, we can store data. Then why we need a database? Why you need a database? Files also can store large amount data. Files also permanent, na? Accessing, you can access file. Already we used a file text document. We accessed it by using AJAX request and displayed in the page. Question understood, na? So if we can store data in a file, what is the necessity of database? File also have security. We can put passwords for file. Files also accessible. You have Google Drive, na? You know Google Drive, you can access from any location. So why we need database? Actual purpose of database is database is required to keep relational data. That is the main point. To keep the relational data. That means data which is has a lot of relationships. That means this is related to another, that is related to another. Based on the relationship, we need to search, filter, sort, find. All such things we can do in a file also. But relationships cannot be easily managed in files. Relationship between data cannot be managed in files. Filtering, sorting, searching, everything we can do. So I hope you people know, if you know Excel, Excel have filter options. Excel have sorting options, right? That means we can store large data. If you see Excel, one sheet contains thousands of rows. One sheet like that, one file can contain 255 sheets. That means you can store large amount of data. It is secured, but database purpose is relational data. That is the main. That means if there is some relation to be maintained in data, then database is good, because files also we can take backup, recovery, everything will be there for file. So the main concept is, key point is this: relational data. So for that we need a database. Now, how this database is created, right? First, you need to understand the concept called database models. First, you need to understand database models. That means, for example, we are designing a project. For designing a project, we need some database. How you will decide that you need this data for a project? How companies will decide that? For that, first they will prepare database models. Database models. These are the you can say building blocks for designing a database. That means, for example, you are selected for a job, because for full stack developers, what they do is, once they test you in interview, they will ask you some questions. Majority our concentration is UI full stack, right? User interface, major part. Backend, we are just learning to understand the support, how it actually works, right? So in companies, what they do is they see that you are having good knowledge in database. Then they will put you in the role of database instead of UI. That means you have a chance of working in database or UI depending on your skills. But important is how a developer designs database for any application. So how how they develop, what is the reference given to them? So for that, actually, we first prepare database models. How the database models are prepared, what are those? I will tell you. Simple point. Suppose we are developing a project. When we are developing a project, first point is, every project we have to know what are the modules for project. For every project, the first thing, what are the modules? That means, for example, you see, suppose I opened HDFC Bank site. Now, the first question here is, what are the services provided by this bank? Those are divided as modules. Understood? That means, what are the services provided by this application? Those are considered as modules. Can you tell what modules this application is having? Already clearly there are 5 modules. Basically, they have personal banking module, NRI banking module, SME banking, wholesale, agree. These are all modules only. That means they have a separate functionality for NRI users. They have a separate for personal, means general banking users. So there will be so many others also, like you will see credit card modules, you will see loan modules. So separate modules will be there. So first step is, in a project we need to identify what are the modules required. What are the modules required? So what are the modules required, we have to decide that. So these modules, like for example, we will take an example of, suppose, shopping, online shopping. For online shopping project, so suppose, think that this is an shopping project. Can you tell me what modules can be there for a shopping project? What modules can be there? Usually, like the modules like products module, where all the products information is present. We will have like vendors module. Vendors means the suppliers who supply the products, right? People who supply the products. So there will be a finance module where payment, billing, everything is managed. You may call it as a payment module, but actually it is a finance domain, right? So you may have like customer module, where customer logins, everything are maintained. Like that, there will be several modules. So now the first point is, in for these modules, these are all the modules available. So the concept here is, tell me which module doesn't need data. That means first point here is, we have to identify which modules need data, which module doesn't need data. That means we will not maintain data for every purpose. Data is maintained for only few modules. There may be so many modules, but every module doesn't need data. For example, suppose I will tell you here, we have a login module, we have a register module, right? That means actually data is required for register, the same data is used for login. That means, do I need separate data for login? I don't need separate data for login. There will be login module, but the data of login will be from register, because at the time of register, what details they given, they are used for login. So we will not have a separate data for login. That means we will decide which module requires data. First, we will prepare the list of all modules that need data. That model is called conceptual model. That means, first, in order to develop an application, first we need to identify what are the modules required. Next, we need to identify what are the modules that needs data, and we need to first prepare the list of modules which needs data. That list, that model diagram is called conceptual model. So that means conceptual model is nothing but it comprises of information about the modules that require data. Understood? What are the modules that require data? That is decided here. We will just prepare the list of modules and keep them there. Now, what happens after you prepared this? In our companies, usually there will be a review team. What that review team will do is, they will verify that you have mentioned all the modules correctly. They will verify that you are not missing any module which is mandatory. They will verify you are not using any unnecessary module which doesn't require any data. And the review team certifies conceptual model. They will say that, okay, you can go with this now. Now what we do is, after conceptual model, we will prepare a physical model. We will prepare a physical model. First conceptual model, after that physical model. Physical model means, okay, now we decided that for register we need data. We decided that for register we need data. Now in physical model we have to decide what data to be stored for register. Okay, for register you need data. What data? That means what will be the data for register? Username, password, age, email address, mobile number, address, everything. That means we will identify. So that means we will decide what should be the table name. Understand? What are the fields and what type of fields? That means username. What is its data type? So like that we have to decide all the fields that are required for that module. This model is called physical model. That means physical model tells what should be the table name, what should be the field name, what should be the data type of the field. So that is called physical model. Physical model means it configures the table name, so field name, so data types, data types. So that's it, right? Data type, etc. So technically it configures the table name, field name, data type, and all. Data type and validations for data, like length, how much, structure, how much, all this we can define that. So that is called physical model. First conceptual model. In that conceptual model we will simply say that register needs data. In physical model we will tell in register what data. After that, once the physical model is also certified by our review team, then we will create logical model. In this logical model what we do is, so it identifies the relation between modules. It identifies the relation between modules. That means, are any modules required relation? Is this module related to any another module? Is any relationship required? So that is designed in logical model. For example, suppose here actually products module is having a relation with vendors, because vendors are the people who supply products. Then which vendor, what products he can supply, that information is present. That means there must be relation between the vendors and products. For example, I hope you all know, you might have observed, while you are doing shopping, you selected a product. Do you know, when you select a product, usually you have an habit of directly add to cart and purchase. But do you know, people generally, before adding to cart and purchasing, they will see the vendors who can supply that product. They will see their ratings also. They will not blindly purchase. They will see buying options will be there. Have you observed? For every product, buying options will be there. When you go to that buying options in a shopping site, in that they will tell that this product can be supplied by these people, and one person is supplying for 1,000 rupees, another person may supply for 800. What shopping site will do? It will give the cheapest one to you, right? But the cheapest one may have low rating. That means he have a bad reputation of sending products not in a correct manner. Packing is not good, product quality is not good. That is the reason generally intelligent shopping people who do shop, so they know all these. And even 100 rupees extra, they will get from a good vendor, right? They will get from a good vendor. That means why there is lot of difference in the cost. That means why they will supply for 1000 rupees less than others. That means there might be something. That means without profit he is doing social work to you. Then why is supplying 1000 rupees less to you? That means there might be some problem in that. That means the packing quality he may reduce, or the product quality may reduce. These are all issues. That is the reason there will be some relation between the products and vendors. You can change the vendor if you want. I hope you know, in shopping sites you can select another vendor, then it immediately changes the rate, and sometimes it may even change the delivery time, because another vendor who can supply the same product, he may be in another different location and it will may take time. That is different points, right? That means there will be some relation between products, vendors, everything. These relations all are identified, and we prepare a model for that. That is called logical model. So conceptual model contains information about modules that need data. Physical model contains information about the data that is to be stored in a module. And logical model contains information about relationship between modules. All together is kept in a place called entity model. Entity model. That means it contains module name, means it contains table name, actually table name. It contains field name, it contains data type, it contains relationship, everything. Everything is present here. Relation, so relation, everything will be here. This is final. Now, as a database designer, you are provided with this entity model. For a database designer, we will give this model. It is a diagram. Entity model, people call it as ER diagram, entity relation diagram. The diagram is given to you. Now what you have to do, by seeing the diagram, you need to design the database. These are actually entity models. These are actually entity models. You can see, yeah, these are the data models. I'm just showing an example of some project related. This is how conceptual model looks like. The conceptual model will look like this. This is conceptual model. In conceptual model, what is present here? So in the conceptual model, you can see, so this is conceptual model. In the conceptual model, so what will happen here is, it will contain all the module names, only the modules that needs data. After the conceptual model is ready, we will prepare the physical model. Physical model is this. In physical model, what it contains? It contains table name, field name, data types. All these are defined in physical model. After we prepare the physical model, now next step, there will be logical model. In logical model, we maintain relationship like primary key, foreign key. FK is foreign key, PK is primary key. I will explain them. We will see that while creating database, we will do that. We will understand. This is the relationship between the data. After preparing this, finally we will prepare entity model. This is entity model. ER diagram. In this, you will have table name, field name, data type, relationship, everything A to Z. This is the diagram used by developers to design a database for any project. So if anybody asks what is the reference for designing database, the reference for designing database is ER diagram. And for ER diagram, what is the reference? Physical model, not physical, logical model. For logical model, physical model. For physical model, conceptual model. That is the hierarchy actually. So once you know this, now for this we need to prepare database. And for that, we use various database softwares. To prepare the database, so we use various database softwares like Oracle, like MySQL, like SQL Server, like MongoDB, like DB2. So many are there. Some Fox Pro. So many are there. So old, new, all databases are used in companies these days now, because see, several companies are still very old softwares. That's the reason Fox Pro like software means they need very experienced person. These days nobody learns those, right? Visual Fox Pro and all very old softwares there, but still companies may be using. For example, if you go to Indian Railways, their projects and all, very old softwares they will be using, right? Websites may be new, but their internal softwares are very old. That means 10-15 years back, government has given them computer, still they are using them. Their maximum capacity RAM is 512 MB RAM. In that case, they can't use high level softwares, they have to still use old softwares. So that is the reason there are so many database softwares. We can use any of them depending on requirement. Now in this, we are going to learn here MongoDB. So why MongoDB? Because we will see some advantages and points how why it is actually. Why MongoDB is included in this course? Because generally to learn other databases, you need to learn one more language called SQL. You have to learn a separate language again. Already our brain is messed up with a lot of things, right? That is the reason what we do is, because for front end developers, database is not the major point. That's the reason they should know database, right? How it works, what it contains, how to interact with the database, they should know. They need not to be masters in database, right? Because in our companies we have separate database people, but you should have an awareness how to handle and how to use and work with the database. You may not get a chance to create database in companies there, because they will have separate experienced people for that, separate experts for database, but you should know how to interact with that. Why MongoDB is given here? Because it's uses JavaScript. That means you don't need to learn any special language, because anybody who knows JavaScript, for him learning MongoDB is maximum half an hour time. That means maximum half an hour, 1 hour, you can learn complete MongoDB. That is very simple. People who don't know JavaScript, if they come to learn MongoDB, it will take 1 month for them, because they have to know everything, functions, methods, how they work, how to write queries and all. But people who know already JavaScript, because already you learned everything in JavaScript programming, then these kind of databases are very simple, right? Actually, at corporate level, when we train people for companies, software companies. Only 2 days, weekend time. In 2 days, they have to learn MongoDB, Node.js, and Express like tools. Maximum in 1 week, they have to finish complete UI technology. That is generally happens actually. That means, so in software companies, maximum 10-15 days. Means, companies will take some freshers. They want to train them and put them in projects. How many days training they will give? 3-4 months? Huh? No, just 10-15 days, maximum 2 weeks. That means whatever technologies you learned all these 4 months, they have to learn in just only 15 days. And for that, very fast overview they will give, and every topic outline they will tell. They will say that you explore by yourself. That is what they have to do. That means 1 hour they train, and 5 hours they have to do research on it and learn rest of things by themselves. Right? Generally, at corporate level training, such things will happen. Because do you know, at corporate level, trainers charge too much. For example, software trainers, I will tell you, in the current market, suppose minimum 5 years experience trainer is there, and a company contract comes, says that you train our people on this technology 2 weeks time. Do you know, every per day they charge 15 to 20,000 per day. 15 to 20,000 trainers. New people, experienced 10-15 years experienced trainer means he will charge even 30 to 50,000 per day. In that case, company says that just in 4-5 days wrap everything. That means you tell the complete scenarios, our people will explore by themselves. Corporate level training happens like that. So that means becoming a trainer is not easy job. It's very difficult. That means even real-time developers who are working in companies from more than 20-30 years also, they can't be successful trainers. They can't train. They can do any work, but they can't train. You give any work, they will do. And ask them to train, they can't. That means you may ask, like, already company have seniors, now why they appoint corporate trainers again? Company have trained seniors. Those seniors can train these new people now. Why to invest 5-10 lakhs in training them? They have to spend 5-10 lakhs minimum for a trainer to train these people. 5-10 lakhs compulsory it will happen. For technologies like .NET, Java, it will be in lakhs. So, and why they have to invest 5-10 lakhs? Why their seniors can't do it? Their seniors can't do it. They can do the work, but they cannot explain. They cannot make understandable. That is the problem. That's the reason. So for a general person who don't know JavaScript, MongoDB is very complex. Person who knows JavaScript, for him MongoDB is very simple. Very simple. Easy, very easy. You don't need to work hard. Everything it feel like you already know. You'll see that once we start working with this, right? Technically, MongoDB is not only for that purpose. There are so many advantages in the current market. That's the reason several projects are using MongoDB. I will show you that. Actually, what are the features of MongoDB? The first important thing is MongoDB, it is document based. It is document oriented. We call document oriented database. It is document oriented database. MongoDB is document oriented database. So it is non-SQL, or people also called NoSQL. Non-SQL, no SQL, anything fine. So that means it will not use any SQL queries. That means actually it uses, so it uses JavaScript methods. It will use a simple JavaScript methods and JSON syntax, JavaScript methods and JSON syntax. That means data is present in the form of JSON. You have seen NASA-like APIs also have data in the form of finally JSON. Data is in the form of JSON, so methods are JavaScript methods. No SQL required. So it is document-oriented database. Document-oriented database means, I will tell you, it is schemaless, structureless. For example, suppose I will give a simple scenario. Like simple scenario means, suppose we have a register form. In this register form, 10 fields are present. In the 10 fields, only 4 fields, in the 10 fields, only 4 fields are mandatory. Other 6 fields are optional. Now I need to prepare a database for this. Now to prepare a database, for how many fields I need to prepare a table? Table should have how many fields? Only 4 are mandatory. Na? For how many fields do I need to prepare a table? 10 fields. Because we don't know which one who will fill. Even 4 are mandatory. Some people will fill 10. Some people will fill only 4. Some people will fill 5. That means now what happens? So in a table, one row, 10 fields, another row, 4 fields. Can we have a table like that? It's not possible. It is possible in MongoDB. It is possible in MongoDB. That means what details he filled. For only those details, it will prepare the data. That's very good. Because in other databases, all other fields are empty, null. And we have to access all other fields. Even there are not necessary. Because we don't know which field he filled. Right? But MongoDB is not like that. It is document oriented. Document oriented means every row works like a separate table. Every row can have different fields. Every row can have different number of fields. That is what the concept of document oriented. Document oriented. So document oriented is schemaless. Schemaless means structureless. So it is no SQL, right? Another important is here, while working with MongoDB, another option is it supports indexing. It supports indexing on any field. Indexing on any field. For example, in other databases, you need a primary key. Suppose I want to edit a record. If I want to edit a record, then there will be edit based on a specific ID will be there. A unique ID will be there. How to identify any unique person? For that, a unique ID will be there. You have to use that unique ID. So edit based on ID. But here we can edit on any field. We can say that edit the details if price is greater than 100. Or update the details if the name is matching with some yes. Like that, we can index on any field. No need to just index on primary key field. Generally, other databases can index on which field? Primary key. But you can index on any field. Index on any field. Another important, that is another point. Another one is So it supports data replications. It supports data replications. That is data replications. Data replications is nothing but technically data replication is if suppose I will give you here. Suppose example is Amazon like suppose Amazon people have a server. In the server, they stored some data. Data is stored in a separate database. Now, this database capacity is 1,000 people's requests it can manage at a time. That means 1,000 is what? 1,000 clients. What is that 1,000 clients load it can manage? Understood? 1,000 clients load it can manage. Now, what happened is 1,000 people can work at a time. Now, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., they given an offer 80% off some big billion sale. During that time, what happens? Millions of people will come. Then limit crossed. Then automatically it hangs up. It cannot provide service. This generally happens in your school college sites, right? That means always this is a headache. In school college sites, what will happen? Because they cannot have replications of data because that is too costly. They have only fixed because regularly people don't write exam. But suddenly hundreds of people are writing exam, the website stops. It is not responding, it is not loading. So many issues you may face. Have you faced that? Right? When results are released, when hall tickets are released, right? Why that problem comes? Because they purchased only limit and their data is having some load limit. If more than that people comes at a time, it can't manage. But what is advantage of MongoDB is actually if load is increasing, then what MongoDB can do is it can replicate the data duplicates. So that the load is distributed. The load is distributed. Very good. For this, actually, we need currently all cloud technologies are doing like that. And MongoDB also have a cloud interactions. Means MongoDB also have cloud. Now, due to that, what happens? Data replications will be easy. That means if load is increasing, then number of duplicates will increase. So data is always available. That means it can manage the load very well. That is what actually the advantage of MongoDB. Another important, it supports ad hoc queries. It supports ad hoc queries. What is ad hoc querying? Dynamic queries we call them as. Ad hoc queries means I will show you one example. Ad hoc queries are nothing but suppose I will give you just so website like Just Dial. You see, you people know there is a Just Dial website. I will open here a Just Dial website. I will open a Just Dial. This is Just Dial. Actually, you observe here, suppose I am using Hyderabad location. Okay. Now, this is Just Dial website. In this, observe carefully, see how many categories are there. See the categories. Left side. How many categories? So many categories are there. And observe carefully. In this category, I am selecting automobile. In that, again, subcategories will come. In that subcategory, again, subcategory will come. That means I selected suppose subcategory. Again, subcategories will come or details will come. That means you can have categories. You can see categories. In the categories, again subcategories, again options. Now the question here is, if like that hundreds of categories are present, how many queries as a database designer we need to keep ready? Because we don't know how they will search. Then how many queries I need to write here? Remember, for every concept you need to write queries. A database developer need to write all the queries and keep them ready. When client makes a request, it will search in this query which one is matching, that query will execute. So that means in the background, lot of queries are written. Millions of queries you have to write. We have to write millions of queries. This is difficult. Ad hoc querying means when user is selecting, at the time of selection, it will generate a query. That's good. That means there are no predefined queries. Queries are generated dynamically. User is selecting, according to that query is building. That's very good. That means you don't need to write millions of queries. That is ad hoc querying. Actually, other technologies have to depend on a concept called OData. Other technologies uses a concept called OData. Actually, there is OData. This is OData. This is OData. So this is OData. This is what generally we have to use in other technologies to handle that problem. But MongoDB internally have this. MongoDB internally uses this. So that is one major advantage of MongoDB. That is what generally we call as ad hoc queries. So these are all the advantages. But at the same time, some drawbacks also there. What are the drawbacks is, so it is not good for relational data. Relational data can be managed, but it is not so good. That is why it is actually MongoDB is called non-RDBMS. Non-RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Non-RDBMS database. That means it is not good for relational data. If lot of complex relations are there, it is difficult. But it is not impossible. It is possible, but it is not good. It is not good. So that means it is not good in. It is not good in business intelligence. BI. I hope you might have heard about MSBI, OBIEE, right? That means business intelligence, OBIEE, MSBI. These are business intelligence. Microsoft Business Intelligence, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Editions. These are very popular actually. Business intelligence means analytic and reporting. Now this became little less in demand these days because data science came into picture. Because of data science, these became low. Otherwise, before data science, it was very popular. MSBI, OBI, these are very popular. Very popular. Business intelligence. Business intelligence means, for example, see, what is the meaning of why it is problem in business intelligence? Because, for example, we have some supermarket, say some Ratnadeep supermarket. In that supermarket, store manager is there. His responsibility is to order the products he need for that week. His responsibility is to make an order. Means their store will be there, warehouse somewhere. From there, they will order this week for my store in this area. These many products are required. Now the question is, food products. In food products, he cannot order over more because the date expire, and he cannot order less scarcity. Customers are asking and not there. He need to order correctly, which are not excess and which are not reduced less. How he will order? That means he need analytics. That means from past 1 week, how many items sold, then based on that this week how many I can procure. All this information he will get with a simple software, and based on that he will make the order. Right? This is analysis, business intelligence, BI. These are very popular softwares actually. That means actually just 2 years back, 1-2 years back, these are very in demand. After that, now data science took over. Data science is now trending. These are very popular. That means suppose anybody saying that I am going to US for doing my MS, for doing some MS, they are going to US, and for that they come here to learn some softwares. They will say that, so by the time I finish my MS there, if I learn some softwares, then I can get a job. Part time I can work, or I can get a job. For that I need to learn some software. Then we used to recommend this to everybody. 2-3 years back we need to recommend this. We should used to say that Java, .NET, all these are not for you. You just do business intelligence, you will get good opportunities. Generally, people who are in our US from our country, who are already there from several years working in software companies, they will put small offices part time, Inc. companies, INC, like companies. They put those companies there, and what they do is they collect information of the people who are doing MS in US from India, who went to US and doing MS. Their information they will collect, and what they do is they give free training to them. After giving free training to them, they will place in the companies in US. They will place in the companies. For that, all interview process, everything they will manage, and even the work also they will manage. Work also they will manage for 1 year, 6 months. They will manage the work, and they will train them, and they will show them. So now for that, actually business intelligence people, do you know, business intelligence people in US, actually fresher gets $120 per hour. Business intelligence people. And remember, so every day they can work maximum 4 hours only, not more than that. You can't say that I need money, I will work 24 hours. Right? Their loss will not obey for that. Maximum 5 hours. That's it. You can't work more than that. Even you are willing to work, they can't give you the work. They will never give you the work. So maximum 4 hours only daily work you have to do. And per hour $120. Business intelligence people. This is too much money. And do you know what these companies mediators are there na? What they do is they will give only $50 to the MS person. Rest of them they take for 1 year, because they are managing his job, they are managing his interview, they train freely those people. After 1 year, again they take $20, they give $100 to them. After 1 year, until they work in that company, they have to give commission continuously. That doesn't matter for them. $20 giving is not a matter for them. These kind of business are happening everywhere, right? So, and that is not for all technologies, because people who are doing MS, they are doing MS in different business areas in US, and for them these softwares only good. .NET, Java like softwares are not good for them. They can't handle also that, because there, in order to handle such technologies, lot of complexity will be there. So that's the reason these are business intelligence. Now, recently, what happened? This business intelligence took over by data science. That is the reason now, if anybody says I am going to US to do MS or something, then we will say learn data science and go. And people who are already there in US and all, they ask for any course, we will say learn data science. That is good for you. It doesn't means that others are not good. It is good for their profile, because in other countries usually what happens, they will see strict background, they need domain experience, they cannot take a non-technical person in a technical job. Here it is possible, there it is not possible. That is the reason why MNCs ask only BTech BE. Why they ask only BTech BE is required, MTech ME MS MCA is required. Why MNCs ask? Because MNCs projects are overseas projects, US projects, UK projects, and according to their rules, they have to pay na salary. They have to pay according to their rules. They need only people from technical background to work in technical. That is the reason majority of MNCs in such jobs, they will ask certain background. So other companies are not concerned about that. If client is not concerned about that, it's no issue. That's the reason in many jobs any graduates are taken, but some jobs strict, they have to show correct background, then only they can work. These are all depends on clients, depends on clients. That is the reason in software company, even you done MS, MSc, MCA, so your project manager is ordinary graduate, the worker is MCA, but project manager is ordinary graduate, right? That depends on skill levels. So technically, what is the problem in MongoDB like database is, it is not great in data science, it is not great in data predictions, so it is not great in business intelligence. If you are not concerned about it, then you can better go with which database? MongoDB. MongoDB as database. If you are very much concerned about analytics, reporting and all, you know data science now, where it is used, you know. Not only analytics, data science is actually predictions also. Data prediction. For example, you see cricket match is going on. When a cricket match is going on screen, whatever you see statistics is data science. That is done by data science software. Whatever you see on screen, that means these people are batting with this average, with this rate, this much total they can make. That is all data science. That is not like somebody is writing some values and displaying. How that projection happens, everything is data science. So that is why if you ask where is data science, even in cricket like game also data science is there, right? All these are very important. Predictions, right? That's the reason it is very much in demand now, very much in demand, because everywhere it is used, and every business it is used. But for such business, this database is little hard. I'm not saying it is impossible, it is hard. Then better people go with Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server like databases for them, right? These are the advantages and drawbacks of MongoDB. MongoDB. So how this works, we will see now how it works. How to set up MongoDB, I will show you. For that, what you have to do is set up environment. You have to download and install download and install MongoDB community server. Community server and download and install MongoDB Compass. These two tools you have to download. MongoDB Compass will automatically come with community server. So install this one, it will come. So I will give you the URL. MongoDB official website is there. MongoDB community server direct link will be there. Yeah. This is the direct MongoDB website. So this is the direct MongoDB website I will give here. So this is the community server. You can go there and you can download here. So current version, you can select for which version. So current version is some 6.3. So for Windows, any operating system, and you have here zip file MSI. You always use MSI. MSI is installer. Zip file means again you have to uncompress, copy, paste. Installer means next. It will install everything for you. You just download from here. Right. Once you download in your computers, you will get two things. One is MongoDB Compass and MongoDB Community Server. So you can test that first. What we have to do is test the server. Here I'll say turn on the server. Turn on the server. How to turn on the server is you have to go to services.msc. You open Windows services and right click on MongoDB server and you have to select start. We have to select start. So open services.msc. This is your Windows services. In this Windows services, you will find here MongoDB server will be there. You can see MongoDB server. This is MongoDB server. This MongoDB server is currently running in my computer, no problem. If it is not running, you have to right click and say start. Already it is started in my computer. You have to select start. Once the server is ready, what you have to do is you have to use this one. Turn on the server and test the terminal from Compass. Test the terminal from Compass. From Compass, you have to test the terminal. Compass means you open MongoDB Compass. This is the MongoDB Compass. You open this MongoDB Compass. It will be installed automatically with MongoDB. Once you open this MongoDB Compass, this is MongoDB Compass tool. Here it will ask connect to server. You have to test connection to server. Actually, the address is MongoDB:127.0.0.127.017. That is the address to connect. MongoDB server address is this. Right, from any technology, if you have to connect with MongoDB, you need this address. So here you see it is asking URL. In the URL, here we have to type MongoDB:127.001:27017. Type that and click on connect. There is a connect button. You click on connect. Now it will connect to the MongoDB server. It is connected successfully. It will show the details here. I'm using an old version 5.0. Current latest is 6. You can try anything because no changes are there. Only few changes related to cloud that is not required for us. because we are using only database for storing the data. So any version is okay, same, right? Now this is the database server. Now how to create database we will see. Creating database, working with the database we will see now. That means we will learn, we will do one thing. First we will take a project, and for that project we will try to build the database, and for that project we will attach the front end. So we will take one project, and on that project we will work now. That I will show you in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. So tomorrow we will go to project, means we will go to IEEE standards, right? According to IEEE standards we will develop one project, because IEEE is regularly asked for colleges and all, right? IEEE standard projects, academic projects you have now. In colleges you will have academic projects, all those are IEEE standard projects. IEEE official website is there, we will go there, we will search for one suitable project, we will download that information, and according to that we will build. Understood? So we will build, so that you will get a clarity how to develop a project now. For that step by step process we will see, that we will see in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay, tomorrow we will start developing the project. For that you have to contribute more. That means I will explain the scenario, you have to design the documents and submit in the next sessions. Then for those submissions we will build the database, interface and everything. So you have to do a lot of work now, right? I will be giving you the points what to do, you should do it and submit. Based on that we will continue the project. Okay, then tomorrow I'll continue, right?